three major devils: United States, Soviet Union, and Israel.
Do you think that a two-state solution is still possible with the current Israeli government? And how do you and the U.S. think that is achievable?
Our regime was very viciously against three major devils: United States, Soviet Union, and Israel. For sure, I don't envy the Secretary of State.
May I ask the Prime Minister also a question? Albania recognized Palestine in 1988. Prime Minister Netanyahu's office said earlier today that now is not the time to be speaking about gifts for the Palestinian people. Do you think that a two-state solution is still possible with the current Israeli government? And how do you and the U.S. think that is achievable?
In my humble view, the hardest piece of politics one can get. To answer straightforward your question, yes, Albania has recognized Palestine long ago. And to give you a little background, Albania was a communist dictatorship, and our dictator was one of the closest friends and allies of the Palestinian Liberation Organization, PLO, and of Yasser Arafat. And on the other hand, our regime was very viciously against three major devils: United States, Soviet Union, and Israel. So, in other words, American imperialism, Soviet social imperialism, and Jewish Zionism. But this country, on the other hand, is the only country in Europe that had more Jews after the Second World War than before. And it's the only country where Jews didn't fly out, but flew in to be protected. And as it is very well shown in Yad Vashem, it's a country where the Nazis didn't succeed to get a single Jew. This is the background. Now, of course, the situation is tragic because, on one hand, Israel has its legitimate right to defend itself, but on the other hand, the destroyal and the loss of life on the Palestinian side are far too much to accept the escalation, the further escalation. And the trouble is that this further escalation is not an action that at the end by itself will wipe out Hamas or whatever form of Hamas may grow from the bottom of the rubbles. So for sure the two-state solution is the only way, but my humble opinion is that in this situation there are many things that have to happen at the same time. It's not one thing, because if one envisage a two-state solution now, just like one piece, then who will be on the Palestinian side? So the reform of Palestinian politics. The need for a body that would somehow represent all the Palestinian society and would be a credible interlocutor to all the parties involved, on one hand. On the other hand, a direct involvement of the Arab countries that are the most interested and also at the same time the most vulnerable potentially from the escalation of this conflict, to create an interforce that, together with Turkey and under some guarantees of the United States, would somehow make sure that what may be a Palestinian state will not be seen like a threat again for Israel. And of course, all this without the liberation of hostages sounds very improbable, and at the end, last but not least, for sure I don't envy the Secretary of State.